have to ask this, because I am queer. Where does your conservatism lie in when you think gay marriage, with trans rights, with those levels of equality?
Recently, just this past week, I've written articles about how the GOP needs to drop the issues of being anti-gay marriage from the platform. I think it's very counterintuitive. I have no problem with gay marriage, and honestly, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me or ask us this question, and it's something I've struggled with, and it's something I have never said, but I'm part of that community.
Oh, wow, really?
And I've struggled with that being part of my conservatism. I only really came to terms with it in the past year or so. Wow. So I guess this is me coming out.
No.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I want to hug you. I'm gonna hug you. I don't care. I'm gonna hug you. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is real.
I have to call my mom as soon as I get off. I'm like, you're gonna see something on TV.
Wow.
But yeah, so that is something I've definitely struggled with. So yeah, that was a pretty nerve-wracking moment. Hey, what's up guys? It's Olivia Rondo. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, this is an interesting video to pick to watch for your first video of mine, but what's up? I felt like this video was appropriate to do today because it's June 1st. As some of you may know, it's the first day of Pride Month. And yeah, the title says it all, that clip said it all. I came out on Pause with Sam J on HBO. Back in February, I received an email from a casting director from HBO asking if I would come on this show because they were searching for one female and one male Black conservative or Republican. I called them. I was like, hey, I don't know if I'm exactly what you're looking for because I am A, not a registered Republican. I've actually never registered as a Republican. I've always been an independent or unaffiliated voter. And B, I was very upfront about being biracial. I wasn't sure if a mixed person was somebody that would fit their casting call. But they said, actually, we really like your stuff. We've watched your content. We've seen you online. We really want to bring you on the show. So that was a little confidence booster. I didn't exactly fit what they were looking for, but I guess my little online presence made up for it. And for the male Black conservative guest, they actually chose King Randall, who some of you may know is the founder of the X for Boys organization located out of Albany, Georgia. He's been on Lawrence Jones. He's been on the Kelly Clarkson show. He's been on Fox, CNN. He's been on everything lately. He's really been blowing up and it's really well deserved. But this video ain't about him. So Sam J is a comedian. She was a writer on SNL, and HBO was like, we're going to give you your own talk show. And she decided to make the first episode about Blackness and conservatism and how they kind of relate to each other. Is somebody less Black? Is somebody really a coon or a sellout or an Uncle Tom if they identify as conservative or have conservative values and beliefs? The episode I was on, which was the pilot, was actually really not centered around LGBT or gay issues at all, but the host of the show, Sam J, happens to be gay, so that question came up kind of naturally in the topic of conservatives and how they feel about gay people or LGBT people. If you followed me for a while, you've known that I've definitely been pro-gay my entire time in the online sphere. Ever since I've gotten a following, I've always been defending gay conservatives, just gay people in general. I think it's okay for them to adopt, okay for them to get married, all that. Honestly, with the T in LGBT or transgenderism, I kind of view it in a separate box than women who love women or men who love men, because it's just, to me, it's not the same. To me, transitioning from one gender to the other is quite different than loving the same gender. But as you've seen from me in the past, I just had Blair White on my channel 2 weeks ago, and I've tweeted about, trans individuals before. I 100% support an adult's right to choose what they want to do with their body. That includes transitioning. But again, I don't necessarily view that in the same category as gay people, because of course, trans people are not necessarily gay either. So I don't know. And then we get into the whole pronouns debate, and that really grinds my gears. So I'm just not really in that whole LGBT sphere of politics as much. So maybe if you haven't followed me for a long time and you haven't seen those tweets or the occasional pro-gay video or clip or anything, I don't do it very often, because anytime I talk about anything LGBT related, then the alphabet mafia swarms me and calls me a homophobe. Well, don't they look dumb now? That's corny. No, but for real, do you guys know how much restraint I had to have anytime some Alphabet Mafia little bitch rolled up into my mentions calling me a homophobe, saying I'm a anti-gay Republican. Well, first of all, I'm not a Republican, but saying I'm an anti-gay, homophobic ass Republican, and I'm sitting in my head like, bitch, I'm one of y'all. Like, but I just wasn't comfortable saying that. And I'm still not super comfortable saying that. Like, there's still people in my personal life that I haven't told who didn't watch the show. And I'm just gonna let them figure out on their own, because it's my personal business, and I'm not gonna purposely start an argument with somebody who I know to be homophobic. So that's it is what it is. But I did choose to come out on pause because it caused a lot of depression. I don't know if any of you can relate what it feels like to almost live a lie in a sense, or just to not be honest with the world about who you are. It's a big weight on your shoulders. It was a huge weight on my shoulders. It caused a lot of anxiety about people finding out. It caused a lot of depression because I knew I would be happier if I would just live my true life, live my true self, and be honest with everybody about it. I mean, my own family didn't know, and the majority of my family still doesn't know. So it's still something that I'm working through. But the night before we taped the episode back in March, we shot it in New York. I was staying in a hotel in Brooklyn, and fabulous hotel, by the way. They put me up in a very, very fine establishment. But let's not get carried away. But my friend Mikey Harlow lives up there. And if you guys don't know, he is a gay member of the Walk Away movement. I've been on his channel a couple times. You guys may have seen him. He's pretty big on Facebook. He just remade another Twitter because he got banned a couple times. So I'll put that in the description if you guys want to follow Mikey again. But we've been friends for a couple years. And since he lives in New York, we met up for dinner the night before the shoot. And I came out to him and he was like shocked. I don't think he clocked me at all. But we were talking about it and he was very, very encouraging in me just being out and open with it. He was very, very adamant that I be honest with everybody and be honest with myself. And, you know, he was speaking as a gay man, like it wasn't coming out of a malicious place. But of course, he would know, and other members of the gay community would know what it's like to not fit in and to live that double life and to lie about, you know, parts to yourself that you don't want to share with the world. And yeah, he really opened my eyes to how depressed I was going to continue to get if I didn't be honest. But I had no intention of coming out on the show at all. We had that conversation. I was like, okay, I'll think about it. You know, maybe I'll tell my mom or something when I get home and we'll talk about it and, you know, it'll be okay. I'll do it gradually. I'm not gonna, like, I had no intention of doing it publicly like that. So fast forward to the next day, I'm on the set of Pause, and I'm feeling really comfortable. Had a lot of anxiety that whole morning, you know, going on set, getting COVID rapid tested, waiting around, meeting King, meeting the producers, meeting Sam. But while we were on set, even with the cameras on me, even with literally like 30 producers like hovering around me at all times, I felt really good, and I felt like I could be open, not only politically, but about my personal life, but all the questions were about politics. But, you know, I was really going there. I mean, within the first 10 seconds of me on the show, I said abolish the Federal Reserve.
When you say pro-Black conservative, what does that look like? I don't think I've ever heard those words put together, let alone have a picture in my head of how that's active.
I'll list it out. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm a capitalist. I mean, when I say capitalist, I don't mean like, oh, like just abolish welfare. I mean like abolish the Federal Reserve. Like I'm a capitalist. So I was really out there like the whole time. Apparently everyone loved that clip. I got so much positive feedback on literally just that clip that I thought it was so funny. Sam asked a question about our opinions on queer or LGBT people, and I just came out with it. And I would like to clarify a couple of things, you know, just because there were some questions and some confusion about it. Because on the show, Sam put, or the producers put, queer nigga conservative. And I thought that was fucking hilarious. Like, I'm not offended by it at all. I thought it was so funny. And I thought it was even funnier that King was shocked nigga conservative right after that. Because he had no idea. But after we got off the show, like, we went like in private, we did talk about it, and he was like, that's dope, like I support you. There's really nothing deep there. But yeah, I do want to clear some things up, because queer is actually not a label I've ever described myself as. Even in my own head, I've just never identified that way. And I'm not a lesbian either, I'm bisexual. So there it is. Because I did get a lot of questions and comments like, oh, are you gay now? Or are you lesbian? Are you queer? And like, queer is fine. I've heard a lot of people use it as kind of like an all-encompassing term for like anyone in the LGBT movement or the community or whatever you call it. I've just never identified with that overarching movement, because often it's very political and it's a very politically charged term these days. So I'm just like, I'm bi, like whatever. And I do think it confused a couple people, because I've posted about like, you know, dating guys or having a boyfriend and stuff in the past. So people were probably like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, you definitely, you know, been in a relationship with a man before. That's true. I've also dated women before. So that wasn't public information. Now it is. Do with that what you will. Maybe it doesn't seem like a big deal to you guys, and it probably shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't really change how you view me or how you feel about me as a person. If you were a fan of me before, I'm not saying you have to still be a fan of me. Like, I'm not saying anyone has to be a fan of me, but if you suddenly like stop liking me or stop following me because of this, then you probably weren't a real fan in the first place, because this is who I've always been. It's not a sudden thing at all. It's not a change. It's not a phase. I've known since I was in middle school, and I'm 20. So I went like the last 7 or 8 years really, really thinking about it, and really, really trying to hide it and trying to suppress it and trying to force myself to be straight. And it just wasn't working for me. It caused a lot of pain and a lot of heartbreak. Those of you who have been following me for a while, you may know that I struggle with mental health a lot. I struggle with depression and anxiety, among a whole basket of other things, but mainly those two. And I actually attempted, I don't know if I can say the S word on YouTube without getting fully demonetized, but yeah, I attempted in December of 2019, and that was, I wouldn't say it was the overarching reason for that. There was basically a combination of a lot of reasons. Just everything shitty in my life was kind of happening at the same time. Everything was going to shit at the same time. And I had this, like, again, this weight hanging over me, this secret hanging over me. I mean, I don't know how many times I lied to my parents saying that I was going to hang out with my friends or going to hang out with a guy, when I actually was hanging out with a girl in high school. So that was just, yeah, I couldn't take the pressure of keeping that line anymore, especially now that I grew that online presence. I was like deadly, deadly afraid of someone posting a picture or someone posting a screenshot and was going to reveal me or out me. And that was just something I should not have been scared of, because now, like, being gay is pretty celebrated, I know, like, you know, in the current year, but still not so much in the conservative community, not so much on the right side of politics, and just not on the internet. Like, people always have horrible things to say on the internet, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. So I was just always scared of that. But now I don't give a fuck. I really don't. And I said it on TV. I can't take it back. Now everybody knows, or everyone who watched the show knows. Now everyone who will watch my YouTube channel knows. Everyone who will see my Twitter knows. It's out there. I'm forcing myself to be honest. I'm forcing myself to take my happiness, you know, into my own hands and not let people dictate what I share or what I don't share. It was time to be honest with you guys. It was time to be honest with myself. And that's as simple as that. And if you didn't get the color scheme already, pink, purple, and blue are actually the bisexual pride flag colors. It's a lesser known pride flag. Bi people use the rainbow flag all the time too, but I just thought I would kind of go out on that color scheme because a lot of people were asking if I was lesbian, and no shade of lesbians. Love y'all. I just like guys too, so that's it. And my earrings actually match the color scheme, and my grandma made me these and just sent me these in the mail like 3 days ago, and they're just like perfect for this look. So yeah, please don't leave your religious bullshit in the comments. I'm not gonna care. I'm gonna delete your comment. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I spent too long caring about what religious people would think of me. I spent too long caring about what people in my church would think of me. I spent too long caring about some of my more homophobic family members would care about me. I just don't care anymore. Don't preach to me. That's all I ask. All I ask is for your acceptance. You don't have to congratulate me. You don't have to call me brave. It's not that brave in 2021 to come out. I know what gay and trans and lesbians and bi people had to go through, many years before I was born. And it was a lot worse than what I'm doing just sitting here recording a YouTube video. So this is just me living my truth. Big shout out to Sam J and everyone who worked on the Pause with Sam J show on HBO. It's streaming now on HBO MAX. I'm in the pilot episode with King Randall. Go check it out if you haven't already. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. What the fuck? Like, subscribe to my channel. Subscribe. And go follow me on Twitter. Go follow me on Instagram. If you want to support my channel, consider subscribing to my Patreon or making a little donation to my PayPal. Those are all linked in the description. And thank you for watching. Have a good Pride Month and have a nice rest of your day.